Tonight on the South Today, a mixed bag with something for everyone is being promised as this year's Dunedin Festival of the Arts launches. The Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor visits Dunedin, learning the ins and outs of reducing food waste. And an Australian pro skater flies down the world's steepest street on a whim while on holiday in Dunedin. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. An eclectic mix of acts have been announced for this year's Dunedin Festival of the Arts. The 2022 program was launched last night, with this year's selection including a brand new opera, an international glam rock touring show and some performances outside of Dunedin.
Promising something for all tastes. The program for the 2022 Dunedin Arts Festival was launched last night at the Dunedin Public Art Gallery, with Festival Director Charlie Unwin promising a smorgasbord of entertainment.
So we've got a glam rock circus based on the works of David Bowie. We have a brand new opera with New Zealand Opera Company, which is set around Janet Frame and Seacliff Mental Asylum. We have Don McGlashan, New Zealand music icon, coming, as well as acts from all around the world.
There's also the world premiere of Tom Monckton's play The King of Taking, and Rutene Spooner's musical cabaret about New Zealand's own demigod in thoroughly modern Maui. A broad range of arts genres are being covered in the festival, ranging from circus and theatre through to family-friendly and literary events. And Unwin says performances won't be limited to just Dunedin City.
Things in the Regent and the Art Gallery. We've got a fantastic music selection at Knox Church, and we even go as far as the Oamaru Opera House and to Gore.
The New Zealand Symphony Orchestra is set to welcome Venezuelan pianist Gabriela Montero, while for music fans who enjoy more of a roots sound, there's singer and actress Whirimarco Black and Dunedin's Shane Carter. There will also be a selection of daytime performances, along with free shows being staged across the city. The Dunedin Arts Festival is set to run for almost a fortnight from October the 12th. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The latest unemployment stats are in, and despite widespread predictions, the rate is up. Economists had expected the number of unemployed people to drop. The number of people out of work in New Zealand has increased marginally from its record low of 3.2% to 3.3% in the year to the end of June. 100,000 people are currently on job seeker or work ready benefits around the country. The official unemployment rate is measured by the Stats NZ Household Labour Force Survey. Wasting food has apparently become a major issue in New Zealand, and the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor has been tasked with finding ways to reduce wastage. Dame Juliette Gerard recently visited Otago University's Food Science Department and got to sample a few items created by recycling food products that otherwise would go to waste.
Sampling a new edible treat created from the leftover waste product of making oat milk. The Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, Professor Dame Juliette Gerard, visited the University of Otago's Food Science Department recently. Gerard spent 2 days at the university learning about ideas on how New Zealand can reduce food wastage.
The exciting thing about Otago is that they've got the food waste innovation theme, so they've already pulled lots of people together. So there's lots of people on campus, there's lots of stakeholders, there's strong connectivity to the Champions 12.3, who are lots of industry partners that we met with this morning. So we've spent 2 days just talking to everybody about what they understand to be the challenges and opportunities in food waste and innovation.
Kiwis are estimated to waste about 1/8 of the food they buy. And lab technician Sarah Johnson says the oat crackers are an example of ways to reduce food wastage.
Oat pulp is the byproduct of oat milk. So we've developed some labs kind of going on that plant-based trend, where we are demonstrating to the students that you can also use that, what could be a waste product, into a new product.
Also served up was bread which was made in part from old recycled bread, and dairy-free blueberry ice cream made from blueberries that were not up to otherwise marketable standard. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Another ward at Southland Hospital has been closed to visitors due to COVID-19 exposure. In a statement this afternoon, Te Whatu Ora Southern said visiting has been temporarily suspended to the surgical ward at the Invercargill Hospital. It's the second ward to be closed this week after visiting to the assessment, treatment and rehabilitation ward was suspended from Monday. Southland Hospital says its priority is patient safety, so all staff are taking the necessary steps to ensure the exposure events are contained. Visiting remains in place for the rest of the hospital from 2 to 6 p.m. Skateboarding down the world's steepest street was a snap decision for Zach Mills Goodwin. The 26-year-old, who's set to represent Australia at the World Skate Games later this year, was in Dunedin and thought, why not skate down Baldwin Street?
Baldwin Street isn't generally for the faint-hearted at the best of times, but when Australian pro skater Zach Mills Goodwin was visiting Dunedin this week, he decided to skate down or bomb the world's steepest street. He climbed Baldwin Street with a group of friends carrying his trusty skateboard and decided to skate down on a whim, even though he described the skating conditions as sketchy. Mills Goodwin is a highly experienced skater who's been hill bombing for many years around the world. During the 5 to 6 second descent of Baldwin Street, he believes he reached speeds of around 80 kilometres an hour before flicking the board sideways to grind it to a halt. He says both the angle of the street and the rough surface means skating down it isn't recommended. His visit to Dunedin is part of a trip around New Zealand before he heads to Argentina to compete in the World Skate Games later this year. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Whai Akane. Still to come on The South Today. Otago is on show this week with thousands getting a peek behind the tertiary education doors. And a Gore trio outshine the competition at the South Island Squash Champs.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Duck in for a deal at My Mate John's. 25 to 75% off. John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
And My Mate John.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Come on, mate. The blue doesn't go with the brown.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Thousands of potential future Dunedin students got a glimpse of what learning may be like in the student capital. Around 6,000 prospective students visited both Otago Polytech and Otago University earlier this week, checking out a variety of kiosks offering study options. 17-year-old Mackay Watson is considering a career in medicine and used the open days to confirm his choice.
Well, going to lectures to understand more about the course and just knowing, like actually coming from the people that run it to know what they are saying rather than just what others have said that have done the course.
Otago University Events Manager Jasmine Miller says there were fewer attendees this year compared to previous years. She believes numbers were lower due to COVID-19, which had already pushed the open days back from their usual May time slot.
3 brothers from Gore have excelled recently at the South Island Junior Age Group Squash Champs. The trio, who are still under 15, say their success has given them motivation to persevere with the sport.
Showing their skills at the Gore Town and Country Squash Club courts. Brothers Xavier Ashton and Mason Hansen had a good event at the recent South Island Age Group Squash Championships, all 3 either making the finals or winning the category.
I thought the tournament went really well, had a few good games in there, and then I came out with the win.
The trio started playing squash about 5 years ago. 10-year-old Xavier and 12-year-old Mason say their recent successes have encouraged them to continue progressing with the sport.
It makes me feel great and makes me want to practice more. I'm proud because I played good and played controlled squash and didn't rush anything.
A lack of younger players in Southland meant there wasn't a large lineup of age group competitors to face off against, but the boys often play in the men's interclub competitions, which gives them a stronger challenge. In Gore, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. It's a mixed bag as something for everyone is promised at this year's Dunedin Arts Festival launch, including a Bowie feature. The Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor visited Dunedin, learning about reducing food waste with the University of Otago. And an Australian pro skater rolled down Baldwin Street while on holiday in Dunedin, clocking speeds of up to 80 kilometres per hour. And now a look at the situation.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at our weather situation, well, mild nor'westerly airflow tomorrow, and Friday will bring some heavy rain in the west and the south, and winds near gale in exposed places. Looking much colder with southerly airflow on the way this weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island, a clear day with nor'westerlies for Nelson with 17 degrees tomorrow. Greymouth looks cloudy with northerlies and a high of 14, while Christchurch is well and truly coming up trumps with a breezy 20 degrees. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, cloudy with fresh nor'westerlies through here tomorrow. Ashburton and Timaru get up to 18, and Awamaru will be just behind with a high of 17 degrees. Westwards now to the Central Lakes. There's strong nor'westerlies again tomorrow right across the board as Wanaka and Alex head for 16, while Queenstown isn't far off that with a high of 14 degrees. Heading further south, you can expect strong nor'west winds through here tomorrow. Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins are all heading for a high of 15 degrees. And down to the deep south, showers tonight in Invercargill with strong westerlies and a low of 10. Cloud increasing with late rain and nor'westerlies, a low of 11 and a high of 14 for Thursday. Friday will be windy, yes, strong to gale force nor'westerlies with a side of rain, down to 11 and up to 15 degrees as the high. And lastly, heading to Dunedin. Fine tonight with westerlies dropping to 6 degrees. Tomorrow's looking mild with high cloud and freshening northerlies, which will pick up as the day goes on. Expect a low of 11 and a high of 16. And Friday, thick high cloud with gusty nor'westerlies and rain across the western ranges in the evening. Down to 12 is the low with a high of 17 degrees. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite apopo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.